Hi YouTube. If you've been watching the channel, you know that I've been trying to find a way to protect the rear shock. So I bought a R&G shock tube. The model that you need for the NC750x is the Shock 8BK, 10 times 11 inches. On the back of the packet, you can see the instructions on how to fit it. They're really simple. Basically, you wrap the neoprene sort of shock sock around the shock. It fixes down the center line, the vertical center line with Velcro, and then there's some cable ties which are inserted within the shock tube that then join together to position it at the top and the bottom. One of the things that the instructions warn against is not to do those cable ties up too tight. So you can see on the screen here, this is the shock tube. It's just neoprene. It's got the Velcro down the edges, and that obviously wraps around the shock and joins together. The instructions also make sure that it's sort of that has to be sealed properly to stop any sort of dirt or water getting in that. And then you can see there that the cable ties slot in slots. So this is where we're going to fit it. This is underneath the bike, and you can see the shock there. One of the things I thought I'd do is because it's going to be covered up, is I was just going to treat it with some anti-corrosion spray, and what you can see me doing here is just applying that. Um, when you apply that anti-corrosion thing, just be careful you don't get it on the back of your tire, because it's quite sticky stuff and it takes quite a lot of sort of effort to get it off. But I just sprayed all the lower links right up the shock itself. Access under there is quite difficult actually, particularly getting into the top area. And it's quite because of where everything's positioned on the bike, it's really quite difficult to get into that. But you'll find a way, I'm sure. Um, the thing I did is because I sprayed quite a lot, I had to wipe off the surplus, and then it was just a matter of installing the shock tube. Because of the access there, I was hoping I was just be able to wrap it round, get a nice seal that Velcro up, and be able to just pull the cable ties together. However, to get within the space, there's just not enough space to do that. So I had to concertina it up, fold it in on itself, so as you can see in the video there, slide it through the gap at the bottom. It is a bit fiddly, and just be careful that because those cable ties fit through like little the tubes at the edges of the sock tube. Be careful you don't push them out because they'd be virtually impossible to get back in when it's fitted to the bike. So just be aware of that. And then it's just a really bit of a fiddly job here in terms of trying to thread the sock tube through and then work it up up the actual shock itself, to be able to get it into position to be able to seal it. Um, it's just a bit of trial and error, but the access is the problem, and it's quite tight there. It did take me probably about 15 minutes to do this job, and I had sort of several goes and sore knuckles to try and get that done. The other thing is once you've then sealed it, it seals at the top and bottom with cable ties, and trying to be able to get access because the cable ties are quite long to cut them off is difficult again. So I just rotated it round so they stuck out the side, and is me just trimming those off. I also kept the towels quite long because I kept it quite loose. As per the instructions, and I felt if I needed to tie it up a bit, I'd be able to just get in there and grab hold of that towel on the cable tie and give it a little pull. But that said, it fitted really quite well. Here you can see that's the bottom with the bottom of the shock covered with a shock tube. At the top, you can just see the R&G logo there. Once I did actually clean that, I just wound it around again. Anyway, there you go. That should protect the shock. And like I say, if you've got any questions, please post them, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye all.